Welcome back, everyone. I'm sure the tannin is doing its effects. So I know that every program that we do, I mean, this is the 5th edition of PODOCON, but we have done quite a few in the past. And each one of our functions usually starts with the inauguration, but this time we had to have Dr. David's talk before because of the time difference. We did not want him to keep awake for us post midnight, and that was the reason why we had to have the keynote before the inauguration. But again, all of you are here, and as per the Indian custom, it's imperative that we begin this by remembering the Lord Almighty and also calling the persons who have been behind us all these years, trying to push us and trying to make sure that we do the job that is required of us in trying to save as many diabetic feet as possible. So it gives me immense pleasure once again in welcoming you all to the 5th edition of PODOCON. Yes, to call upon on the dais, I have with me Professor Raghuram Govardhan, who is the Chair of Mechanical Engineering. Sir, if you can come on the dais. We have Dr. Ravi. He is the Director of Department of Medical Education and the Director of Karnataka Institute of Endocrinology and Research. We have Dr. Anand Suresh, sir, the man responsible for all this here that you are seeing today from Mechanical Engineering. So welcome all. Please come, sir. Please take a seat. So if I can request Dr. Paul to hand over a small plant, keeping in account with the greenness that is surrounding us. We have made sure that we are not spending anything on plastic. To all our dignitaries here, ತಗೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ. Get another one. Take one more. Take ಇನ್ನ ಒಂದು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ. ಇನ್ನ ಎರಡು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬನ್ನಿ. It's a small token of appreciation and also keeping in line with the greenness, as we said. For people who are visiting the Indian Institute of Science campus for the first time, I'm sure you people will be wondering why we selected this. But this was only to make sure that the collaboration that has been seen over the last 3 years, that is brought to conclusion here by trying to conduct a medical conference in a place where proper research is being conducted. Thank you everyone. Now I would request Dr. Sanjay Sharma to give you a few points on the journey of PODOCON so far.
Thank you, Dr. Pawan. So PODOCON 2023, it marks a significant milestone in our collective pursuit of knowledge, collaboration, and innovation. This brings together a diverse range of expert professionals, enthusiasts from various fields who share a common passion for preventing and managing diabetic foot conditions. It was in 2019 that I remember that the first PODOCON was held as a flagship event of FootSecure, signifying the foundation day of FootSecure. In 2020 and 2021, thanks to COVID, we had to have the conference virtually. In 2022, it was a hybrid event, and each event had a theme. All the 5 events, we had a theme for it. The first one was on diagnostics, second one was on dressings, the third one is on offloading, and the fourth one was on regenerative medicine. 2023, we knew that we had to do PODOCON in May, but we had run out of ideas for the theme. It was when I and Pawan were coming back from the conference in Aligarh. Probably Abhishek is not here, Abhishek would remember. We were thinking, what could be the theme of the conference? We have covered dressings, we have covered diagnostics, we have covered offloading, regenerative medicine. What could it be? And that was while the drive back, an eureka moment happened, and we said technology was the mantra. And thus, was the theme where we said that the conference on technologies and therapeutics. FootSecure had its new branch in Malleshwaram, and we wanted to have this event closer to the new center so that we can all take you to our new center and show it. But that was when we were looking for venues, and Dr. Pawan called upon Dr. Anand Suresh, as he said, the man behind this whole event. And Dr. Anand Suresh gladly agreed to host PODOCON at IISc. And with this collaboration, I think we have got into a new chapter. While we were at it, I approached Dr. David Armstrong for being a keynote speaker, and he readily agreed for it. But we also thought about a collaboration with American Limb Preservation Society and got a positive response. And today we are proud to be associated with ALPS for not only this conference, but for the future PODOCONs too. FootSecure is also supported by the hackathon by Arogya Seva, which is happening parallelly in a different venue with a diabetic foot as a primary track. There are about 100 students from across the country. It could be medical students, it could be engineering students, it could be management students who have been trying to think and innovate for few of the challenges that we from PODOCON had given them on coming up with newer solutions for various of these challenges. And that's happening at the IKP at Korbangla, and we will all culminate on Sunday on that. Over the next few hours, we not only have the opportunity to engage in simulating discussions, exchange valuable insights, and forge new connections that will undoubtedly shape our future, but we are launching two new exciting projects, the first of its kind projects. Probably, I will not reveal it. We will go as and when it comes. Throughout this event, we have an immense lineup of renowned speakers who will share their expertise and experiences, shedding light on the cutting-edge research, groundbreaking innovations, and emerging trends in diabetic foot. Our aim is not only to expand our knowledge, but also to ignite our imagination, to inspire all of us to push our boundaries of what is possible. However, a conference is more than just a presentation and talks. It is equally about connections, and that is why our last hybrid, there were more online participants than the physical participants, and we said, this time there is no hybrid, no streaming. Whatever is there, the people will have to come here and listen to it so that we have those sideline conversations, make connections, and these interactions will lead to innovations in future. In closing, I invite you to make most of this PODOCON 2023, let's leave no stone unturned in our pursuit for knowledge, engage in meaningful conversations, and cultivate a spirit of collaboration that will endure beyond the confines of these four walls. Over to you, Pawan.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you so much. As per our Indian customs, I would request all the dignitaries to come down and light the lamp. Thank you all. Without wasting much time, can I have the honor of calling Professor Raghuram Govardhan, the Chair of Mechanical Engineering Department here, to say a few words, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pawan. It's really a pleasure to have all of you here and to have your this PODOCON conference to be held in this in our campus. So, firstly, sorry, just having a little bit of throat issues. So, firstly, a very warm welcome to all of you to our campus and our department. And I hope you have a really exciting day looking at the list of speakers. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic time. And to start off with Dr. David Armstrong, Armstrong's talk was incredible. Just to tell you a little bit about the campus and the department, just a few words. So just like I think Dr. Pawan and Dr. Sanjay were talking about their journeys, this institute started out because of a thought that happened between two people on a ship in the 1890s. So the two people were J.N. Tata and Swami Vivekananda. So they were talking on a ship in 1890s I think the ship was going from Japan to Vancouver. And they both were heading to the US for very different reasons. And their talk, basically, J.N. Tata was going to get some technology to start an industry. And Swami Vivekananda was going to attend some conference on religions. And that was the origin of this institute. And it so happened that J.N. Tata was really Yeah. So sorry about that. I hope I wasn't lost. So as I was saying, just like Dr. Pawan was saying, this institute started off on because of a conversation between J.N. Tata and Swami Vivekananda in the 1890s when they were heading on a ship. Lots more of time to talk. And impressed by that, J.N. Tata ultimately gave about half his wealth to this institute in the 1890s to start the institute. And in case you have not noticed, the institute is always called the Indian Institute of Science, but it's very affectionately always known as the Tata Institute around here, including the bus stop. Coming to our department, so this was the institute started in 1909. It's about 115 years old now. This department, which is the Department of Mechanical Engineering, started around 1940s. The institute originally started as a science institute, but slowly a lot of engineering departments came. Mechanical engineering started around 1945, and we recently celebrated our 75th anniversary. We have, the department does work in a lot of fields related to mechanical engineering, which includes thermal, fluids, design, biomechanics. Professor Anand Suresh is one of our leading professors in the area of biomechanics and mechanisms and many other things. So we have a wide variety of things, and it's really nice to hear about this conference, and we hope that there would be more collaborations as Dr. Pawan and Dr. Sanjay were talking about. Welcome. Just one more quick thing. This auditorium, AR auditorium, is actually Arcot Ramachandran. He was one of the early department heads. After being here, he went on to found the Department of Science and Technology, DST in India. So in his honor, this auditorium is named. And just like your conference, we like it to be green. So the whole, the auditorium is completely like, there's no AC, there's very simple things. So we can in some ways hopefully be in touch with the greenery around. So welcome again to the campus, welcome to the department, and a warm welcome to the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Raghuram. Can I now request Dr. Ravi to say a few words, sir?
Good morning to all. Elrigu Namaskara. First of all, let me thank the organizers, PODOCON, especially Dr. Pawan and Dr. Sanjay for having me here to this wonderful place, Indian Institute of Science, where we have assembled here to celebrate, participate in the 5th annual conference of the PODOCON. Well, as Professor already told, it's a privilege to be here in this prestigious institute. I stay very close by, but I never had this opportunity to come inside the campus. They don't allow us so easily. So I think you all know that. So I think this is the second time I'm just coming in. I had the opportunity once to tell you all more about only the engineering section. I think they are coming out with a medical college in this Indian Institute of Science. Well, I was just a small part of that in that initial stage of planning. So I think it's a wonderful place we are in, a greenery. We are used to having these conferences in hotels. I think today we have this opportunity having among this greenery. Thank you to the Dr. Anand Suresh and his team for providing this conference, venue for this conference. Well, about PODOCON, I think first of all I should congratulate the entire team of podiatrists, be it students, be it orthopedicians, surgeons, for having assembled here. Where I see, I am a physician, this diabetic foot is the most neglected part in many of these treating strategies. I think you are on the right track of preventing these amputations, identifying these diabetic foot ulcers before they develop these diabetic foot ulcers. We know how crippling it is for an individual once he develops these diabetic foot ulcers. He goes on to get amputated. He is the breadwinner of that family. He is lost in his own way, both financially, so many ways, socially, everything. So I congratulate the entire team of podiatrists from the state, from across the state, for having assembled here and going forward in the various research that you all are going to discuss in the next few hours, where we can have come forward in prevention of these diabetic foot ulcers. There are a lot of things. I saw this brochure where we just think just dressing of a diabetic foot ulcers will heal that patient. There are a lot of things like which we all are discussing, the cutting edge dressing technologies, the stem cell regenerative therapies, telemedicine, the gene therapies, which all are going to be discussed. You have resource persons from India and from outside India also. We have guest speakers, you also are from outside India. I take this pleasure to inviting you all to this wonderful place, India, and this Indian Institute of Science for this conference, which is going to happen in the next few hours. So let this conference be a wonderful interaction between the guest speakers, the resource persons, and the faculty members and the participants who are here. I wish this conference all the best. You go back with some research which is going to be beneficial to the patients in the end. So it's the patients which we have to take care. It's diabetes. Most of the, frankly, I should tell you, diabetes most of the time it's concentrated and bringing down the blood sugars, bring down the HbA1c, where people don't think about the complications, particularly the diabetic foot. Well, I think this forum should enlighten and should take forward about the prevention of these diabetic foot, prevention of the onset of this diabetic foot, and prevention of amputation. I thank once again the organizers for providing me this opportunity to be among you all, and I wish this conference all the best. Good luck to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for those nice words. coming to the person who made this all possible. Believe me, as Sanjay was saying, when we were thinking what can be done, how it should be done, where it should be done, when we called him, Dr. Anand Suresh, it was just one phone call and he's like, sure, why not? And that solved most of our problems. So the man who is responsible for having all of us here right now, Dr. Anand Suresh, can I have a few words from you, sir?
Good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning. On behalf of IISc, I join my colleague Professor Raghuram Govardhan to welcome you to our verdant and vibrant campus. Today is Saturday, probably you don't see many people. All of our students will be working in the labs or in their rooms, but our faculty also will be there. But I'm sure if you get some time, just go around our campus and enjoy the serenity that we have, and also amidst that, there will be a lot of discussion that will be happening all the time. And we are very proud of our campus, and everybody is welcome to our campus actually. At most, the security guards will ask you to sign there. Other than that, our campus is really open. I thank Dr. Pawan and Dr. Sanjay Sharma for giving me this opportunity to host simply. I think they are giving me more credit than I deserve. All I said was, when they asked me whether it can be held in IIS, I said yes, that's all. The rest of it is done by them. And in fact, in this auditorium, we never had a event organized in this formal way before. I think my colleague Professor Raghuram Govardhan also would agree with me. We just have seminars, talks and things like that, but not like a conference at this magnitude and all the stalls that are set up there. And one more thing, I just want to ask you to raise your hand if you are a health professional. Could you please raise your hand? That looks like pretty much everybody. So that's a new thing for us, because in a department of mechanical engineering, having an event where health professionals participate is, I can say it's the first time, but I'll be careful because our institute is 113 years old. Nobody remembers what all would have happened in the past. So I will be careful not to say the first time, but at least in my memory, in the recent times, it's probably the first time. And as you already heard from Dr. Ravi, that we are going to have our own hospital and a medical school, postgraduate medical school. I'd like to tell you a little bit about that shortly. And let me first say where we started out today morning. I would say that was Bahubali 3. Now Armstrong, Dr. Armstrong gave such a great talk. His name translates to Bahubali. That's super hit, yeah. So it was wonderful to see what all happening, but I'm sure all of you are going to share similar things the rest of the day. I'm looking forward to it. And let me just take a few moments to talk about our medical school that's going to come up, and the postgraduate medical school as well as the hospital. And our director couldn't be here today, and also our two deans, Professor Navkant Bhatt and Professor Vijayaraghavan, who are looking after this initiative, are also tied up one way or the other. So I get to present their slides. So we call it the next frontier for IISc. Because as you just heard from Professor Raghuram Govardhan, the institute started with spirituality and businessmen's minds coming together, and one more ingredient there was a regal. Maharaja of Mysore gave us the land. That's where we are. So we had a very, I would say, a rich legacy of spirituality and business acumen of J.N. Tata, and also Maharaja of Mysore. And it was also philanthropy, that's where we started out with. And the government was there, British government, and it was the magnanimity of Tata or the Maharaj of Mysore not to attach their names to the institute. It's called Indian Institute of Science, and that was what we revere and we still hope. And our medical school also is starting that way. We had a big donation that came from, I'll show that shortly. And why do we want to have this medical school? That's the first question. A lot of us faculty in science and engineering departments have been working with clinicians for quite some time now, very engaging collaborations, but we always felt that there is nothing like having clinicians next to us 24/7. And we thought that unless we have that, we cannot do clinical research. That actually will be faster and better. So we have the convergence of many things that we are doing here, and at the same time we think about the society, because that was the dream of J.N. Tata as well. Here we all agree that we have a lot of inequity in healthcare, availability, accessibility and affordability, and that's going to be one of our goals. So clinical research and otherwise, we would like to bridge that inequity that exists in the country. And the delivery, it's not just IASC doing it. Whenever we do it, we do with everybody. There will be NGOs, other hospitals, a lot of clinicians like you, and industry and government, everybody coming together to make this endeavor possible. So as I said, we have the plans for hospital whose construction is going on, and also a clinical research center that we will do along with the postgraduate medical school. And this is the vision statement, mission statement. Whoever writes it will be almost reading similar. That is, we would like to impact, here it says, the next 7 billion people in the world. We are not just thinking of Bangalore or India. So those who don't have the good care, for them we would like to work towards in terms of research and also healthcare delivery. And of course, here we have, so far we have engineering science department, now we have clinical sciences, and we want to bring all of that together. We already have many initiatives. I'm just going very quickly, very briefly, because we are already at 11 o'clock for the other talks. So we have a number of initiatives that are already happening in IASC. Digital health is one of them. In fact, we started digital health thinking about it before the pandemic. After the pandemic, it's like everybody's, right? So a lot has happened. We are still looking at a few initiatives in digital health. We would like to carry through where there is deep science and technology embedded in them, and a few other things, also medical devices. We are going to talk about a lot of medical devices. Many of our faculty members already are doing it, and in fact, there will be two talks. One day I will be giving one, my colleague Siddharth Junjunwala will be giving another, but a lot of others in other areas where we are looking at, and sensors, of course, IoT and sensors, cyber-physical systems, we have all that, robotics. So all of those things are somehow connected to medical. Biology and medicine are something that all of us can relate to today, whichever engineering department we are, whichever science department we are in. And with our medical school, we are an education institution. We can have a hospital and heal patients. Of course, we have to do when you have a hospital. But doing training is also important. We'd like to have a new breed of people who can be called physician scientists, or some people have different terminologies now. There will be those people, and also clinical researchers. There will be faculty who will teach and do research and heal patients. That's a new thing. We are going to have 70 clinical faculty joining our institute in the next couple of years. So they will have 40% of their time reserved for research. And that's very difficult for clinicians. Many of you are, so you know that, because in India we have shortage of clinicians. So you have patients, lots and lots of them. But here we made it a point right from the beginning that 40% of their time has to go for research. While they do practice, they have to also do research and teaching. And with that spirit, we are starting this medical school, only postgraduate, MD, PhD. So they will be, after MBBS, they come here to do MD. At the same time, the PhD also starts. So hopefully, if everything goes well, after they join, within 5 years, they can go with MD degree as well as PhD degree. But then we are not stopping at that. So when we talked, as Dr. Ravi was one of our advisors, one of the things that we heard from clinicians is that we have to be careful, because after MBBS clinicians come, they may not be really into research in the way that a PhD would require. So there should be an exit route for them. So we are actually starting right from the beginning, taking advice from our distinguished clinicians that we would have a MD and then an MTech also in technology. They can take courses on campus, they learn technology because a lot of clinicians, and all of you included, use a lot of technology. So we can do that formally as well. So MD, PhD will also have MD, MTech, for example, data science. So they will be learning data science while they are doing MD research. That also we are starting out at the same time. Of course, there are many more details at how we would make this critical enabler for creating people, creating a new breed of clinicians who would be looking at clinical research as well as clinical practice at the same time. So it will be, like I said, dual degree programs, MD, MTech, MPH, MTech, all the variants. So we are all ears to take your suggestions. That's why I'm taking a few minutes to tell you about our plans and lots of research that we would like to do, from vaccines and cancer research, diabetes. You see in the top right corner there, we have actually as many as 14 projects going on related to diabetes on campus. In fact, there is a journal of IASC, which is also more than 100 years old. The issue that will be gestated by Dr. V. Mohan, many of you may be familiar, in Chennai, Madras Diabetes Research Foundation, he is guest editing it. And that focus is on diabetes research with focus on India. So once it is there, through Dr. Pawan and Dr. Sanjay Sharma will send you a link so that you can read the papers that are there. Maybe some of you contributed that as well. And integrative medicine, that's another thing we are thinking about. The ancient Indian systems systematically established scientifically and brought into the mainstream. That also we would like to do. Infectious diseases, we cannot overestimate or overstate the importance of this now because after the pandemic. So we have that also. And neurodegenerative diseases, we have Center for Brain Research, which is looking at neurodegenerative diseases as well, and many other things. That's a kind of science or medical side. And also precision medicine, digital health, they all go together. Biomedical devices. So all of these things we have. AI and robotics, that is in diagnosis and other things. So we have that as well. So both engineering, science and medicine are going to come together to in our hospital and medical school. Innovation, translation are going to be important aspects of our research. Already we are doing a lot of translation from basic research. Now we are also doing translation research in many domains, definitely in the medical domain as well. We think it's going to be a game changer for IAAC in many ways. We're really excited about that and having more and more events that involve clinicians like yourself. And we have a very aggressive timeline here. 2021, the idea got initiated. We got money in 2022. 2024, we want to finish the construction of the hospital that's happening as I speak. And 2025, we would like to get the first cohort of students in the MD, PhD program and MD, MTech and MCH, MTech programs. And this has been made possible by generous donation by Mr. Bakshi and Mr. Pathasarathi. The hospital is named after them. This, both the husbands and wives here, the two of them, two couples, gave us the money, and this is the artist rendering, but the construction is happening as we speak. And it's well poised to integrate medicine, science and engineering. And with that, I will stop and give it to Dr. Sanjay.
Thank you, sir. Now, how many of us can imagine a patient coming to our clinic and saying that my glucometer is not working? And the clinician, after treating him, obviously opens it up and repairs it for him. So that is what we are looking at. So yes, jokes apart, whatever we have spoken, I am a guy who has personally felt it. We are doing quite a few research with Indian Institute of Science. In fact, 2 of our researchers are still going on, and we are looking at translating it into products which will help the diabetic patients in the years to come. So thank you once again. Can I request Dr. Arun Maya sir to hand over the memento to all our distinguished guests, Dr. Ravi, Dr. Anand Suresh, sir. Professor Govardhan. Sir, I don't know whether this is the first collaborative conference of the type, but I can assure you it will not be the last. With the medical school coming up, I'm sure we will be seeing many more such collaborative conferences in the future. Once again, thank you so much for taking out time and coming here to see what we are doing and blessing us. Thank you once again. Now I will be failing in my duty if I do not thank some people here. First and foremost, Indian Institute of Science, the American Limb Preservation Society, Dr. David, who took out time during his late night to speak to us, Dr. Ravi, Professor Govardhan, Dr. Anand Suresh, the IISc team, including Rashmi, Bharat, and Praveen, for doing whatever we asked of them in these last 2 days. Gopal and his team, who will be catering to your hypoglycemia later in the day. All the distinguished speakers who have taken out the weekend, which is probably one of the most important times that you get to spend with your family. I do agree, and I'm really thankful that you have taken out the time during this weekend to come and talk to our delegates. And last but not the least, no conference is a good conference without the delegates. Thank you one and all. I hope and wish that the next 3 to 4 hours we learn, we discuss, and we connect. All the best.